The stage is set for the national title game. You got the Dogs, you got the Horned Frogs, Georgia versus TCU in Los Angeles. And guess what? Myself and Nick Brake, we're going to be there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. When it comes to the game, though, when it comes to football, it's a game of matchups. It's a game of battles, right? Back and forth, mano a mano. Who is better when it comes down to that head-to-head stuff? The games within the games. That's what we're going to break down in this one. I got 3 key matchups for you that I truly believe will dictate the outcome of this game. We were pretty spot on in our last couple videos when it comes to key matchups from the semifinal games. Regardless, we don't need to toot our own horn. Let's get into it. Quentin Johnston, the receiver for TCU, is an absolute beast. Okay? His matchup with the Georgia secondary, I think, will have an enormous impact on this game. Because you and I both saw it. We saw it last night, actually. The Georgia secondary has got a lot of guys that are going to play in the NFL. Well, Quentin Johnston's going to play in the NFL too. Both sides are going to make a whole lot of money. I don't believe there will be a certain corner that will track Quentin Johnston. I think it'll be kind of by committee. But we saw Marvin Harrison Jr. really have a day until he went out of that football game. And there's a lot of folks in Columbus, Ohio today saying if Marvin Harrison Jr. stays in that game, is the outcome different? Not here to talk about that, but Quentin Johnston is a similar build to Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not going to say they're the same player by any means, but they have a lot of the same skills. And Quentin Johnston gave a really good Michigan secondary a bit of trouble. Had that big haymaker in the second half to really push TCU out in front. How he plays in this game will dictate the tempo to which Georgia has to respond to. Because a lot of their offense, make no mistake about it, for TCU will go through Quentin Johnston. So however well he does, I think will dictate the kind of response you need as the Georgia offense. So something to keep an eye on in this game. If you have not yet subscribed, man, now's the time to lock in. National Championship Week. It's game week, baby. And guess what? Myself and Nick Brake, the entire Hard Count program is going to be in Los Angeles, giving you content from LA, giving you content leading up to before we get to LA. Like, we got you covered, okay? Thank you to all of y'all that have subscribed to the channel this season. If you haven't yet, man, now's the time. We don't want you to miss anything. Come join the party. Come be a part of the community. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Piquel. A lot of content we do there we incorporate back into this show that we can get to y'all. Also, a great way for us to interact and do more of what you want to see. Really quickly, also, we're live on Tuesday and Thursday, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. The next matchup I'm watching, Stetson Bennett, the Georgia quarterback, slinging it around. Catalyst this offense, taking a huge step forward. Him versus the TCU safeties, I think will be extremely impactful. Because TCU, and you're ready to hear this term a lot this week, they play a 3-3-5 defense. All that means, folks, is they play with 3 safeties, okay? So a lot of what they do defensively is predicated on those guys rocking and rolling down. They have them play and run support. They have them back playing against the tight ends. And that battle will be extremely interesting to see how they try and confuse Stetson Bennett. Because we saw them have a lot of success against J.J. McCarthy in Michigan. I mean, they really had a lot of, heck, they had 2 pick sixes of the TCU defense. And I think a lot of that is credited to the TCU safety group. Because in the game of football, when you're trying to set your scheme, a lot of what you do is based on that safety play. For example, if you're a running back and you're trying to figure out where that blitz is coming from, guess where your eyes are? The safeties. If you're trying to figure out what coverage they're in, you're looking at the corners, looking back to the safeties. So much of what a defense does, and TCU is no exception, is predicated on the safety play. And TCU asked a lot of those guys. So Stetson Bennett being able to diagnose effectively, efficiently, and consistently will be, I think, a very big variable in this game. Because if he can have his way, it could be a long day for TCU. If they can get the jump on him and have the kind of performance they did against Michigan, all right, we're going to have ourselves a ball game then. Okay, so make sure you're locked in for that one. That's a very big matchup, a very big battle. Lastly, Max Duggan is an absolute savage. He is a program guy, we like to say on this show. Not a program guy, a program guy. Gives us heart and soul for his team every single time out. Love watching him play ball. The matchup I'm watching with him is against that Georgia linebacking core, specifically, I want to see Smile Munden and Jamon Dumas Johnson. Those two guys have really great speed, more speed than I believe he's ever seen to this point in the year. And the thing with Max Duggan, the reason why I think this matchup is so intriguing, I fully expect Georgia to have some variation of a spy on Max Johnson. Now, what does a spy mean? Essentially, all it means is wherever Max Duggan goes, you have somebody assigned to go with him. So he drops back to pass, you're sitting right there in the middle of the field. He breaks left, you break left. He breaks right, you break right. He goes to the hotel lobby and wants to get himself a toothbrush because he forgot his in Fort Worth. You're right there with him saying, what color toothbrush you want, Max? That's the kind of assignment you have with Max Duggan. So why is that important? Max Duggan, I don't know if y'all been watching. Dude can run the football. He's a really good athlete. Yes, he throws the football pretty effectively as well, and that's how this offense runs is through him. But when he tucks it and runs, that can just be the backbreaker for a defense. Having to account for a running quarterback is the most annoying thing in football. So both of those guys, both Smile Munden and Jamon Dumas-Johnson, are really good athletes. And how they play him in the run game, or maybe how they force him to stay in the pocket because of how they spy him, I think will tell us a lot of this gameplay for the national championship, for the national title. I'm fired up to be there, man. This is going to be an absolute blast. As Wes Blankenship likes to say from Dogs HQ, if this doesn't get you fired up, man, your wood is wet. All right, so we got Quentin Johnston versus the Georgia secondary. That'll be a very big indicator for the kind of tempo the Georgia offense then has to play and how the TCU offense has success, honestly. Stetson Bennett against these TCU safeties, that 3-3-5 defense, a lot of what they do based on the safety play for the Horned Frogs. How does Stetson Bennett diagnose that? And how much does that confuse him? Is he able to get what he wants? Is he able to diagnose his looks that he is used to diagnosing, if that makes sense? Can he play in rhythm? How long does that take him? Should tell us a lot of the story. And then finally, Max Duggan against this Georgia linebacking core, specifically Smile Munden, Jamon Dumas-Johnson. Those two guys, phenomenal athletes, elite, if you will. Very curious to see the cat and mouse game they play there with whether they spy him or keep him in the pocket and how much they take away his running ability. Should be a whole lot of fun, though, man. I'm fired up to have you all along for the ride, man. Going to be a beautiful thing. Going to be an absolutely beautiful thing. Nick Brake, lifting heavy, doing every single thing that you see here, but this is your show. For the people, by the people, college football 12 months out of the year. We don't stop after the national title game. We just keep rolling, okay? Again, we're live on Tuesday and Thursday, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Click the bell notification, man, so you can jump in with us, ask a question, get in the live chat, have some good interaction. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter at JD Piquel. From all of us here at The Hard Count and from On3, Happy New Year to you and yours. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.